Right, so welcome to episode 8 of the Bear Tiger podcast. Got a slightly bigger team this week. Josh has rejoined us. How are you,
guys?
mate?
How are we?
What's been going on?
Oh, good, mate. Ended up staying up watching the golf last night, so it was a bit of a with that playoff that we'll talk about. Ended up a bit of a later night, but I am fresh this morning.
Love it. Nige?
I'm good as well. Very fresh. Had my morning espresso.
Back from Disney?
Back from Disney, survived. Didn't meet Mickey personally. Too big a queue. Got to chuck a bit of money at that. Didn't feel it was necessary.
Didn't get the priority queue for that one.
No, got the priority queue for everything else though. God. Tell you what, I didn't read the small print in Disney. You have to have a lobotomy before you turn up to that place.
And then our last member this week, JS NFT. What's been happening? I suppose you've just been not doing too much, not working hard, or not getting about, being busy, getting on everybody.
No, I've got that shoulder injury back from Dubai, which is just it's killing me. So is
that the one from the Sandown Foursomes?
Is that the same arm that come out of its socket?
No. Do you remember when we were in Dubai in lockdown and I had to have that operation? It's exactly the same thing. So osteo later. See what happens.
Should we relay that story?
Well, yeah, I was playing Sandown Foursomes, and we was James was my partner. You know what it's like when you walk down the fairway. So it was a rescue club in his hand.
How far forward have you walked?
Oh, good 220 yards, 230 yards.
She's optimistic already.
It's a rescue club. So I'm thinking he's off the tee, it's a positional shot. All of a sudden, I just see this ball come trickling over the front of the tee box. And I see James holding his arm. And I have to do the walk of shame all the way back up as he's walking towards me and holding his arm. And
well, that's a new one for James. Usually he looks at the club head and thinks it's
he did that. He definitely did that.
You'll see that if you watch any of the videos we put on YouTube. After James hits a drive, you can tell if it's good or not, because if it's not so good, he's looking at the club face and scraping it with his tee like there was like a bug on there or something.
I think he said his arm come out of his socket on the downswing. That was or dislocated on its downswing.
Yeah, I protracted it. It's like, all right.
Protracted. That was the one.
Ouch.
Yeah, that was fun.
So we got the terminal. So is it the same injury?
We won that match, by the way.
Is it the same injury? It's slightly different. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just. I think it's. I had a cyst in my labrum last time, and it's exactly the same shooting pain. So let's see if Anna can sort it out.
Didn't you have it like syringed out?
Yeah, aspirated.
Aspirated.
That's it.
So many technical terms so early on in the podcast.
No, big words.
Amazing. Let's skip straight into the weekly roundup of what's been going on in the world of golf. Let's start out the PGA Tour. Let's go straight in. Will Zalatoris. Willy Zeke finally got his first win, which seems like he's a winner already. And somehow
we knew that was coming. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
He scraped through, did we?
Yeah, we talked about how he's coming second all the time, and it was just a matter of time.
I mean, I think the world of golf has spoken about how he's a different to a Tony Finau, who's like, has he got the minerals? Has he not? Yeah. Has he got them? Has he not got them? It just seems like he has. He just keeps getting beat by someone who comes down the stretch, has it go their way. He doesn't seem to do anything wrong, and it's finally come through. But in an odd manner, where actually probably the first time it looked like it was going to get away from him.
Yeah.
Well, he did celebrate quite aggressively just to qualify for the playoff.
Rewound,
but did you hear what he said?
On the 18th hole.
Did you actually hear what he said when he held that putt? So he held the putt and done a big fist pump.
It was a decent sized putt, was it? Like,
what are you going to say now? Or he said something like that.
Let's go.
Yeah, but it was as if to say, you're questioning my putting. I'll just hold an 8-foot putt under all this circumstance, this pressure. And
I wonder who you were talking to. Because has anyone here maybe mugged him off on the podcast and maybe heard it and then he was like, that's for them.
Well, I think James has. You say he's got a lookalike, right?
He has got a lookalike. Yeah.
Well, that was on Twitter.
Yeah. So
he's been desperate to tell us this story. Come on, let's have it.
He's actually laughing so much he can't talk. Come on, it's not that funny.
I mean, it was widely spread around socials last night, which I hadn't even clocked before, but I mean, I lost it when I saw it. It was a full Diet Coke spit everywhere kind of moment, that he is a spitting image of Happy Gilmore's caddy from when he won the 1996 Tour Championship, beating Shooter McGavin. And it was it's a phenomenal play.
You don't find those stats on Wikipedia.
I think so many people had gone for Adam Sandler that Adam Sandler just acknowledged it, and then who's actually a massive golf fan and subsequently congratulated Will Zalatoris. So we should definitely cover off best golf films. It's definitely up there. But congrats to Will.
Well, maybe we'll put that in everyone at some point in the pod has to give their favourite golf film.
Love that.
You can do that instead of Headstrong or Heads Gone or whatever it's called.
Headstrong.
Headstrong. Goes miles, that club.
So he was, previous to this, he was 0-2, for an American term, in playoffs. This playoff was it seemed like he messed it up.
He wanted it to be 0-3 by the way he played it.
He didn't want it. The hole they were playing was a bit like the 17th at Sawgrass, right hand pin. Essentially, he hits it, it bounces off the grass onto the rocks on the edge of the green, which looked like it was an unplayable shot.
Yeah.
We had to go back to the drop zone. And then Sepp Striker stands up and hits pretty much the same shot. That thing hops into the water. And you think, wow, just hit it somewhere on the green.
Yeah, what would you do there? Would you go up and have a look to see where his ball actually is? Because that's what I was before you hit your shot. Or are you just going to go straight to the middle of the green?
Like if I was there, I would just try and hit it 15 feet left and then just roll it in for a 2.
Same shot, whatever happens.
Go that way, yeah.
Because if he thinks that's on the fringe, you don't know from the tee. If you're looking down there and you think that might be just on the grass, that's quite a holdable chip shot. But he doesn't know that's unplayable.
Yeah, true. But yeah, just amazing really that it happened in that way. But the thing that probably backs that up is that I was looking at some stats this morning and Sepp Striker, he's ranked last in strokes gained tee to green since the US Open.
Yeah, would he missed 6 cuts in a row?
Yeah, so he's obviously been struggling with his game a little bit. Somehow found it, but then when he really, really needed it, it kind of reared its head.
Yeah.
And wasn't able to get it done because then his wedge shot, he kind of turned it over, didn't he? And hit it in the back bunker and it all became a bit messy.
Going back to the playoff hole, when he's hitting that drive, that Will's hitting that driver off 18, like you say, he's had so many opportunities to win and everyone has took that opportunity from him from good golf. But like you say, it was like he was trying to give it back and hitting driver off that last hole. I couldn't see where he was trying to go with that driver.
Especially how far he hits it.
Yeah.
It was 350 into the way past where the fairway turned, wasn't it? Into the trees.
But again, May 4. So
yeah, not necessarily the most.
Did he drive first
route.
or second on that?
First.
Right, okay. Aggressive, but hey.
But well, I kind of get it's a straighter face, as we know that it's harder to. The trouble's more left, so straighter face, less loft. It's not going to turn over as much.
But he didn't. If you look at the way he played that hole the 4 times before that, he didn't play anything like that.
No.
He was hitting like a 310 shot.
Yeah.
And then he steps up and hits a 350.
Bombs.
First world problems.
Watch my YouTube video.
A lot of people watch your YouTube video.
Yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, that was a good one, right?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed doing that.
What the thing I think I enjoyed most about the video was being there when it was being filmed, and it was a hot day, and Josh had arrived in his JL black hoodie and was in a normal t-shirt to which he probably wasn't allowed to hit balls, so he just had to stand there and hump balls down the range as hard as you can in a thick black hoodie on a hot summer's day.
Yeah, it was decent.
Just for the listeners, that's obviously on our YouTube channel. Your video that you did recently is watching a PGA tour player. Sorry,
Tour player. Yeah,
tour player.
Get right.
Going through his bag, bombing balls, and it's quite amazing watch actually, seeing how far you hit the ball.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was such good fun. And like Zane said, obviously I didn't get the iron out in the morning, so I didn't want to take the jumper off, but it was good, like hitting all sorts of shots. And there's another one coming as well down the line. It's like extreme shot shaping, which was that was good fun. So
I've seen you on the range. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Look forward to watching that one.
Yeah, that was good.
Just go when someone goes through their bag, start to finish. It's interesting. I always find it interesting to see how far do people hit their clubs, especially if they're a long hitter. But then just even to the point where some people hit their long irons miles, and sometimes they hit their short irons really short or opposite and stuff.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because when you play with somebody, you maybe only get to see them hit 3 different iron shots.
Yeah, like how many times do you play in tournament? You play with someone and they're hitting it miles off the tee, and then you get onto a par 3 and they're hitting like 2 clubs less.
I don't get that. You might do because
I do. Yeah, okay, like you say,
No,
it's different through the bag, or they're hitting their irons really long, and then you're out driving them by 40 yards.
Yeah,
get that as well.
Always little different reasons. I find that really interesting. So, how far do you hit a 7-iron?
7, but there's
it's such a range
So
for him.
Your stock 7-iron, and it's 70 degrees outside, and there's no wind, and the pin's in the middle of the green, and it's this 5th hole of the day.
190, just short of 190.
190 carry.
Yeah.
Nige.
I'm about 165 to 170.
James.
173, 7-0.
73.
73.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Nice.
Langer. Is that in the front of the sprinkler or the back of the sprinkler?
Bernhard slate.
What about you? Are you skipping this question?
Yeah, I'm around 170.
170.
Yeah, about 170 is about good. Nowhere near 190 is freaking miles. That is.
Yeah, it's massive that.
But he can hit. I've seen you shape like lob wedge a 7-iron like 120 onto a pin.
Yeah.
And then I've seen you like, what do you call it? A zinger.
Stinger.
Oh, zinger. That's my KFC order. Zinger burger with cheese.
Ching, ching. I think there should be a new section to the pod of Nigelisms. just like the Hendrick. Like Henrik Stenson, Hendrick. It's like in Nige's world.
Sam
in his
Ridgewood.
Head. What's going on?
How's Sam Ridgewood doing?
Is he from Bushwood?
Yeah.
There you go, golf movie.
Another caddy.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Will Zalatoris. He's now broken into the top 10 in the world. He's won the first playoff event. Is he going to be our winner? Like he just, he's been trending that way. Everyone thought he's going to get a major. Is this his route to get into the major? Is it going to be, win the FedEx? Go that route, kind of let everyone know he's here, sort of thing. He's been coming for a while. Do you think that Scotty Scheffler is going to hang on? It seems to have been very quiet for him for the last 6 months or so. Is someone else going to break through?
I think he's been waiting for the win, hasn't he, to just break the duck's back, getting that over the line. Because I think obviously everybody's been, critical of his putting stroke, and I don't think it's from range. I think it's just from that kind of scoring zone of like 5 to 10 feet. And under the gun, obviously, hold a couple of putts from 8 to 10 feet that were super clutch. And now that he probably thinks that he's won and he knows he can do it on that stage and he's not the second man anymore, you'd like to think he can kick on. I mean, his tee to green game is as good as anyone's. He's kind of up there with Cameron Young, isn't he? Like super quick, stripes it. I think you've got to be a serious technician to be good around Augusta. He's been very good around there twice now.
Short game is unbelievable.
Yeah. But just to the point, bring back to your point there about his putting, the consensus is that he's not a very good putter because he has a real funky looking stroke. But I've watched loads of golf this year and I've watched him a lot. He's a good putter. He holds a lot. He doesn't miss that many putts. He's probably, he misses, I think he missed his first 3-foot putt last week, literally month, almost all season, mate. I think it was his first putt he missed inside 3 feet all season. And he has this weird looking stroke, but I don't buy into the fact that he's a dodgy putter. But the aesthetics of it looks that way. So he kind of gets a hard time. And everyone goes, he's got his funny stroke, and it looks awkward. I mean, it has all the hallmarks of a yip stroke, and probably one of the worst strokes you'll ever see. Yeah, actually, the actual outcome, I actually think, if you have 5 feet, I think he'd probably make it.
Yeah, I was listening to Wayne Riley. Is it that was last night at the end when they were doing the roundup, and he said he's actually been working on his technique, something new on the backstroke, because he used to take it way inside and then reroute it, loop it over the top. And he's been working on his backswing, and as I think the yips come from a technical fault, I personally believe. So he's actually working on the technique bit, which I think is freeing him up and is getting rid of that electric feeling he gets down his arms. But
I guess if he finds the middle of the putting face and he starts it online that he wants to start on, whether what happens back of it is redundant, right?
His pace yesterday on them pressure putts was unbelievable.
There you go.
That putt he hit from 18 from the far right of the green down that hill. You saw how fast it was, and he was literally just tapped it in, which was unreal.
So at this point, early on in the playoffs, who's everyone's prediction for who's going to win the playoffs?
He's run through.
Do you think Will, or do you think someone else?
Yeah, I mean he's run.
Who's your pick, James?
To win the playoffs.
To win the playoffs. Do you think that anybody can shift Scotty Scheffler from the top?
Well, he's not
ranked
Zalatoris is number
FedEx.
one now.
Right. But that shows you
fifth now, is he?
Zalatoris is number one in the FedEx now.
Cup rankings.
So
I think he holds that
winning,
now.
After winning that event,
first.
You get like 2,000 points or something.
You get more points. It's like
200.
Nearly like.
So Zalatoris has got about 3.6 million now, hasn't he?
So many points to get for yesterday? It's more than 200, right?
2,000, I think.
2,000, yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, it's 3,680. Scheffler's about 3,555 or something, and then
0.983. Yeah.
Then there's a big gap to Cameron Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is it out of those two?
Well, right now it looks like it.
Make it cool. Come on. Okay, I'll give you the top 10. You got to pick, right?
I'm going to go with Zalatoris.
Then Scheffler, then a gap, as you say. Then it goes Smith, Burns, Finau, Schauffele, Cantlay, Straka, McIlroy, Thomas. That's the top 10.
Yeah,
I think Zalatoris has got to be bookie's favourite.
Yeah,
because his form has been very strong. If he's not first, he's done a lot of seconds.
So on Sunday of Eastlake,
so Zed,
you're still saying Zalatoris. He's your man.
So what? Yeah. But when we go into Eastlake,
who's your man?
Yeah, but just
right now, just for a bit of fun, like weeks out, no one knows.
No, I know, but I just want you to give a bit of substance to the listeners as to, because you'll know better than anyone, the FedEx, when they go to Eastlake, right, there is now a scoring chart, isn't there? Whoever's ranked number one will start 10 under, I believe. And then the person next will start 6 under? Then how does it structure down after that?
I don't actually know. It drops, it goes down like 10, 6, and maybe, does it go 5, 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Essentially, it's whoever starts there.
He gets a start of about
you get
4
a head
shots
start
or 6
on
shots.
seconds.
Yeah, I think momentum.
4 shots on second, but then 6 on the field.
Yeah.
I think momentum counts for so much. So
Nigel's having Zalatoris. James won't give me an answer.
I'm going to go Zalatoris, and I'm also going to say he wins next week as well.
You think he's getting a roll?
Yeah, I think it's going to do the same thing as Tony Finau done. Very similar situation.
Like it.
I think.
Like it. Do you want to pick anybody, James?
I am going to go with Zalatoris because I think momentum's massive.
Okay, cool. I like it. I'm going to go with Tony Finau just because I think he's a legend.
I was going to say I think he'll come second in the FedEx.
I like it when he does these little dance video things. Where you see where he dropped,
I see he shared
dropped
that.
his phone.
That wasn't his phone; it was his wife's phone.
He'd missed his phone.
Yeah, he was quality on the interview about that. I thought he goes, "Oh yeah, it was mine. I didn't care. I saw it was the missus' phone. She's going to lose her shit." So I quickly went and dried it off and carried on dugging.
There's a little panic, wasn't there? Little panic. Okay, we'll write those down. So you're all saying Willy Z, is that right?
Other than you, just going with your boy.
Yeah, just going with my boy. Did anyone make any notes or see any big movers this week? I think the one probably notable from outside to inside was Adam Scott, who started the week at 77.
Yeah.
Had a good week. He's 46. He's just like, he's a bit older now. He's just amazing. He's just always around. Like, he's not quite in the limelight, but he's always there.
He could have seriously have won that event yesterday. I watched him on the front nine, and he was just doing his thing with a putter again. Like every putt I see him hit on that front nine, he left short. Like, he just looked a little bit tense with it, and it's streaky, isn't it? When you see
find that
someone
strange, because he's had that issue for his whole career, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And you think towards the back end of it, you think at some point they'd be like, actually, I'm good now.
Yeah.
And why do I need to leave this short? What am I scared of?
Yeah, exactly. But as we know, when you see someone leaving putt short on a Sunday on a front nine, they're a little bit tense. So,
I was really happy to see
his ball
Lucas
striking
Glover
was
play
unbelievable
well as well.
So, talking about putting issues, he's got.
Yeah,
that is that thing, isn't it?
That is.
I mean, he's such a pure
shocker.
ball striker, isn't he? But I mean, just for everything that he's dealt with, I mean, he gets given such a hard time by his missus. I mean, it's been so well documented, and won't go into detail about it.
Don't worry about having issues with your missus. When you say no from 8 foot and you can't get it within 2 feet, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, but
your missus can go like, I'm not dealing with your crap right now. Yeah. I've got an 8 foot to try and deal with.
But he's like,
after my purest,
soon to be a 4-footer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he's made like 30 million on tour, and he's constantly talking about his mental battles about being a failure. I'm like, off that, mate. You've had some career. So I think he raced through the field as well with a top 5 this week. I think he needs a reasonable good week at the BMW to make tour champs.
Any other notables? Are we happy with those?
I'm happy with those. From what I saw last night, it's the same names up there. You got Will Zalatoris, you got Finau, Smith. Who else was it up there? Burns could come out of nowhere.
Yeah, Sam Burns had some year, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's the same. It's just amazing when these top boys have got their game. It is just so consistent, week in, week out.
He's some player, Sam Burns, actually, isn't he? He doesn't really get enough airtime for how good he's been for a long time.
He's quite young as well, isn't he? Won 2 or 3 times now. Amazing, really. I guess the one guy you don't want to be right now is JJ Spawn. He's number 30. Ooh. He's right in that. He's on the nervy bit, isn't he?
Who's the geezer that done well at the British Open? End up coming second. That everyone thinks Rory comes second.
Cam Young.
He's another one.
Yep.
He was up. He was
13th place.
Yeah.
On the FedEx.
We were talking about him a couple of weeks ago. He was just right into Head-Offsville, to be fair, wasn't he? He's like hitting clubs and. Like, Zed's sort of well called that he needed a break, and now he'll probably come back a bit refreshed. And I mean, he looks like a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year, doesn't he? It
was interesting talking about breaks. You know how Rory's been on that run for a while, and he said he took 2 weeks off, and he said he didn't even didn't go to the gym or hit a ball or anything.
Eat vegetables.
Prep for the. He didn't eat vegetables.
No,
just burgers.
Yeah.
Oh God, man after my own heart there. Yeah, interesting that even at that level, someone just needs like a complete
restart.
No panic practice. No going to go and work it out.
Mentally, he's been in front of a microphone all year as well, isn't he? About LIV and being front man for PGA. He just needed a complete.
Well, that's the same for us having a holiday. You work all year and then you go for 2 weeks and live it up.
Or Disney.
or Disney. And
do your emails.
Can't wait to get back to work.
Please, yeah, exactly.
He's just reset. So it'll be interesting to see how Rory comes back playing.
He missed the cut, obviously. He looked a little bit out of sorts, didn't he? He was just finding his feet.
Looked like he'd been eating burgers for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the inside of a gym. He'll learn. I'm sure he'll bounce back.
Couldn't swing round the belly.
Learn.
He's a bit different now, though. I find that he's really come out of his shell a little bit. You know, in interviews and stuff now.
It wasn't overly. You wouldn't say he was shy of retiring before that.
No, but I mean, like, there's just a lot more banter and stuff like that. I can't remember. There was
Did you see? You know how he came out and he said about when he kind of put it to Greg Norman a little bit when he won that tournament. He's like, you know, got his 21st PGA Tour win. He's like, oh, you know, one more than someone else.
Yeah,
Greg. And then Greg responded this week, isn't he, saying, I really look forward to the time when Rory can say that he's won 91 times worldwide and so forth and whatever.
Yeah, and try to be world number one for however many weeks.
For however many, 300.
Yeah, I was literally just trying to find that. Yeah, it just had a bit of a bite back to him. To be fair, which was a pretty good comeback, I thought.
Yeah. It's like,
he's won twice
yet,
as many majors, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got years to go. So,
well, before we skip to the dark side chat, we should cover off the
Voldemort Tour.
The DP World Tour, dominated by two Scots. Ewen Ferguson being the eventual winner, now up to 211 in the world ranking. Conor Syme coming in second.
He's had 2 good weeks in a row now.
Conor Syme, has he?
Yeah.
Where was he last week?
He was definitely he finished second or third last week as well.
So the Scots are absolutely on fire at the moment. Pretty good scoring. And then James' favourite, Richard Mansell. Closing with a 68. I didn't actually see it, but I looked up his card and there are 3 late bogeys.
Yeah, he was going really nicely. He was in second. He was like a couple under through 6 in the final round. He's a really good player, Rich. Pretty sound. I mean, it was a modest event, wasn't it? He's a modest player.
Modest guy,
yeah. Nukes it as well. I mean, and I think he's just slowly gone about his business, hasn't he? Got through European Tour, got through Euro Pro. Then he got through Challenge Tour that year where it was like a COVID affected year, but they only gave 5 cards. I think he had a really good run in South Africa, so got his card, and then he's just kept his card in the first year, and then this year he is now in the top 6. He said we'll get to Dubai. So
yeah. It's been a really good progression, hasn't it, all the way up, and he's obviously you could from following his story a little bit, which is kind of a similar-ish kind of ethos to like Todd Clements, who we've done a pod with, which we'll chat about that after his most recent win. The similar-ish sort of mindset. We've seen a lot of young up-and-coming players, and it's very much week-to-week attitude, and for different reasons, you know, financially and experience and so forth. You know, just trying to get to play well this week so I can then pay for the hotel next week. But you've got a couple of guys there who have now progressed to the tour. Richard Mansell, maybe a year on, who, you know, went out and got sponsors, but not sponsors just to get to tournaments or to fund their lifestyle. Got sponsors so they can have a full-time caddy and do it properly pre being on the tour. And then when he's gotten to the tour, it's not been like a reset. It's not been like I've got to learn how to play golf on a new platform with all these different players and also what it's like to have a caddy and so forth. He's just been able to continue his work because, you know, Josh and I would say, I had that information a lot, was like, when you turn pro, just don't change anything, do what you do and so forth, which is really easy to say. But then you go, well, but now you have a caddy every week. And the whole run of having a caddy is a different routine.
What you want to do, isn't it? Is like having that camp around you and you just pick up camp and then just take it to the next tour and then just carry on the same.
Yeah, he's had the same lad, didn't he? I think he did. He had a good week on a Euro Pro.
Does he have the same? Is it been the same lad all the way through to now?
It's a mate of his from back home who's a fairly handy golfer, but he's a young lad, and they've got obviously a very good chemistry together. And he had a good week on Euro Pro, and he invested all of his prize money from that event into saying, like, just stick with me. I think, you know, we'll go on a run together. Then he's gone the entire way through Euro Pro, through Challenge Tour, and now bags from full-time on European Tour.
So, do you like a bit of caddying, or did our experience, did it put you on or put you off? Just to put a bit of context, James came out to a Mina Tour event in Alain probably 3 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And caddied, did it 2 days?
I caddied for you, but caddying for you is a very different experience than a normal caddy because you just say carry the bag and just like make sure you keep up.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah. And you get.
We did it right though, right?
No, well, we played better when I was bagging than not, but yeah, you know, just a.
There was
you
one
can't
moment
do it now with that shoulder, I'm assuming.
I just carry on my left hand side.
To be fair, Nige,
strap.
because it's hot in the Middle East at that time of year, we're playing golf carts, so he wasn't actually carrying. So
you just had to drive your buggy.
Drive the
or
buggy.
Did you not even trust him with that?
Elaine's a bit of a funny course though.
He's not a great driver. No, did you?
Elaine's a funny course though. So
it's stressful being a passenger in his car.
You'd walk ahead quite a lot.
He's good with numbers though. He's good with numbers. So like, I always think, I mean, you would have had caddies quite a bit, Josh. You would have had caddies. Like, I always find like everyone has their own little run of how they have their small system of how they work with caddies. So for me, I just want to know a number, but leave all the other stuff, all the other what we're going to do or can hit this hard or soft, whatever. I just
where's the wind coming from? All of that, you do it.
I want to know a calculation. I'm happy to say like, where's the wind direction and what's the number, and then I'll go from there. Whereas the next person wants to be told,
for me,
like, hit this club.
2 numbers with Zane. He likes to know the front and he likes to know the pin, and then you just let him. Then he'll manufacture a shot off that.
What gets me, I hate with caddies. I'm going to have a little head off, sir. But the
headstrong.
This is Josh's headstrong gone.
So you know when you say, what's the line, and then someone goes, it's there with a draw or it's there with a fade.
Yeah,
it's like no, just it's that line.
Yeah.
Like I'll decide if I'm going to. Yeah, exactly. That, and for me, that's the biggest thing with a caddy. Is like, just tell me where this ball needs to come down. I'll work the other stuff out.
Yeah.
See, I don't like caddies though, because all I end up using them for, similar to you, Zane, is just a number. And you pay all that money, the guy just gives you a number that I could get from my laser thing way more accurately. So then you just got to put up with shit chat for 18 holes.
We're not
are you local? Do you do this all the time? You know, just why? I'm trying to play golf here.
Well, I think sometimes it's weird. You know, you go out with your mates and you have caddies, and the caddy starts talking to you. You're like, and you be polite, and they're probably a nice guy. But I'm here to be with my mates.
Yeah,
talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not in a bad way, but that's, you know, generally you play social golf. That's what you do, don't you? You do it for that reason.
It's not long before they give you a line that you just don't agree with, and then you just like.
It sounds like you're almost waiting for that, so you can be like, right, go away, mate. Like, you've had your.
But I mean, listen, there's a 90% chance I would never hit it on the line. I'm told to anyway. But that aside, it just gets a little. I just don't enjoy it because it starts to then feel like I've got to perform. You know, I'm a 12 handicapper, and he's like, put it on that bit of the green of the draw, like you say, and I'm like, mate, I have no idea what you're talking about. Just give me a yardage, and I'll be lucky if I guess the right club.
To a lot of caddies, there is so much good they do. And going back to Zalatoris taking that drop, like his caddy's in there, like that was a win or lose situation, and his caddy. You never know. It might have been the deciding factor for him taking that drop that's won him that event. But it's nothing to do with
right. That's when they come in on the mental side, which is good.
I think in tournament golf, you're like Josh has nailed it. Really, I think it's like someone that you can probably have as much as the numbers is camaraderie, isn't it? Sometimes you just want a bit of a release in between shots, like, and you can just have a bit of a conversation where. It's almost like a mental holiday, isn't it? Just for the walk between drivers.
But we've had a conversation in the past. I don't know whether it was on pod or off, where we sort of spoke about Rory's caddy being his mate.
I was going to talk about that.
And how his game, exactly. You know, there's some criticism, or not criticism, there's some questioning on whether having a good mate on your bag at that level distracts you from...
you could just get comfortable.
Yeah, you're in your comfort zone. You think you're out on a jolly with your mates. You're not actually realising you're playing in the Masters.
Exactly.
If that's possible.
But some people think, comfortable, that's great, but you can be comfortable being good. You've got to be a bit uncomfortable to be so focused, so switched on, do the stuff you don't want to do.
I think
that makes you a little bit uncomfortable.
Examples of that as well, isn't he? He's gone from a very, very diligent workhorse in Steve Williams to with Joe. It looks like a much better relationship, and Joe's helped him create 4 wins out of a body that's probably never should have played tournament golf again, just because he's managed to probably help him get into a mindset where we obviously went and saw him live at Augusta. And that must take some relationship to be able to manage someone who's in that physical restraint and still compete at the highest level. So I think you go through an evolution process where you're looking for something in that relationship where you can get the best out of it.
Well, I think they're 2 really interesting players because, you know, their caddies are ready to be high profile for good and bad reasons. The Rory one being Harry Diamond, what he does for him, is it great because he gets to travel the world with his pal and maybe ignites his interest to be on the road and go play. Whereas, not that Rory doesn't love golf, but and he's been quite open about it at times. You know, he kind of seems like he changes his opinion sometimes. Where he's, you kind of get the feel that he'd be happy just hanging out with his mates at home or wanting to play. And then he changes and he seems a bit more happier now, and he's now he's being outspoken about playing for legacy and that sort of stuff. Whereas someone like Tiger, that's never been an issue for him. He's lived that life, a solitary life of not being a very social person, for all those reasons that we've seen in the documentaries. And so, therefore, he doesn't need like does he need like a mate on the bag? Or for most of his career, he's not required that. So he had Steve Williams, who was like...
Well, considering he's
like
not celebrating his wins, you don't need a mate. Like, you just...
But actually, I chatted to someone about this the other day, and you guys would know, like, remember when Tiger celebrated wins like nobody else has ever celebrated wins? And when he's going for it and he's fist pumping and so forth, it was never... You could really see, it was never because there was a big crowd around him. It was completely for himself. Because he was chasing some sort of dream. Whereas, you see people celebrate a bit now, they're like kind of looking around, there's a bit of a wave and like, it's kind of a soft fist pump. But when Tiger did it, it was just like aggressive and like, and also his celebrations are much cooler than anybody else.
And he's addicted to winning, wasn't he? So that's why.
Whether people there or not. And then on that point, the caddies, Steve Williams was so, he's such a strong geezer. It wasn't everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
But there are certain situations where you would see a top player and you just think, if Steve Williams were there, he would have just like, he probably would have given him a club that he thought he should hit and then just walked off with the bag and given him no choice. No, like, oh, maybe we should chip out here. He would have gone, here's your wedge, right, see you later.
But he obviously got that was obviously transferable skill sets because he went through an amazing period with Adam Scott as well.
Well, essentially, he went through an amazing period with Greg Norman, didn't he? That's where it kind of all started. That's kind of a strong Aussie character.
Yeah.
Which was, then it doesn't seem to be that many caddies like that now because obviously everyone's trying to hang on to their job. He looked like all the feedback he got was like he was making decisions whether he didn't care whether he was going to get a sack or not. He went through what he thought was right.
We definitely need to get a caddy on, and we said, we spoke to Ian, didn't we, at the Open, and he said he would love to come on with us. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be immense.
Because to be fair, I think the caddy they've got their own world. The caddies,
like,
he's brilliant
when you're away
at a tournament, they're sort of all together and. They have definitely got their side to say about us players as well.
It was amazing chatting to Finno that evening at the Open, and so much of the conversation just came back to Tommy's golf.
Yeah,
you're like having a conversation for like 45 minutes, and you chat about the golf, but you're a bit wary. Like you think, I don't want to just talk about this guy's boss all the time or someone's work. But he would direct the chat back to it, and he was so into it. It was really impressive, I thought.
I think one of you guys told me this story as well, which I had so much time for the level of professionalism where Tommy had said to him, come over and go to the JP. And he was like, no, mate, you're joking. We're the Open next week. I'm going to understand every blade of grass on that course. I'll be ready for when you arrive.
His words to him were, me going to the JP McManus Pro-Am, as much as I'm going to have a good time, is that going to help you win the Open?
Yeah.
And he said no. And he went, well, I'll see you at the Open then.
That's insane.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Just coming back on Tiger, I guess, with about those points said around celebrating wins, though, I think that was probably part of that whole Mamba mentality element that he had, though, where, like the 08 Torrey Pines win and stuff, there is that element of just you're the best in your field when you can go and win from nowhere. I mean, so I guess that's all that pent up kind of winning mentality that's just getting the job done from the clutches of defeat, where he then obviously goes and grabs it, doesn't he? And then you just get all of that exasperation on the 18th tee. And it didn't matter whether it was Torrey Pines or it was the elite fist pumps, or when he won the Open not long after his father had passed, and it was just raw kind of, emotion in a different sense. He just transferred it all into his golf, didn't he? And then
unbelievable. I watched a documentary the other day, the highs and lows of Tiger was the highs and lows, wherever it's called, on Amazon. It was like £4. Unbelievable. Like, he is my hero. Yeah. And there's things with Tiger, I don't know what it is. He is the only guy that can just I'll try and hide tears back. Like, I'm sitting on the sofa, I'm like, don't do it. It is so good to watch. Yeah. Honestly, couldn't recommend it anymore.
So what was that one?
The highs and lows.
He's just
highs and lows.
Plugging Emerson.
Yeah, just plugging Emerson. Yeah, the highs and lows of Tiger, and it's got all of the proper lows and the evidence, the videos and everything, but also the backs of the highs as well, and his people that are close to him. His nights outs in Vegas with Jordan. And
is it a series?
The highs then?
It's a 2-part, so you've got part 1, part 2, both now.
You need a good evening.
Oh, it's good, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, get your bottle of red.
Yeah.
Oh well, I might
you want to get on the
might favour it now while we're chatting.
You want to get on the HBO one as well, the 2-episoder.
Yeah, that's it. It's the same one.
Oh right, the Tiger. It's just called Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, HBO, 2 episodes.
You sure?
Yeah.
Sure, is this the same TV program? I feel like.
I think
I think you've watched this one that I've watched because you told me to watch it on the plane, the Emirates planes. It's always on there.
I'll get it up.
Yeah, and it's just a joke how good it is.
So that's a good chat. We've somehow gone from chatting about DP World right over to
Cool
Tiger
chat, mate.
Woods, which I don't want to mug it off just because obviously Tiger brought us so many amazing times.
So it's not the tiger that came to tea, is it?
Just got Disney in there.
Just searching Amazon.
Just imagine Nige sitting down with his bottle of red. Like, what are they talking about?
All right, there we go.
That's a children's book, by the way.
I do know that. There were a 10-year-old and 8-year-old. Although they don't watch stuff like that. This morning I went into my kids' bedroom to see how they were. 10 and 8, 2 girls, lovely kids. Very proud of them. And I'm like, "What are you up to?" And they were like, "We're just playing on our computers. What are you playing? Icy Purple Head." I'm like, "What? What are you doing on your iPad? Playing Icy Purple Head."
What is that?
So what is that game? Just to clarify.
It's evidently a game all the kids are playing at the moment. But some developers make this
these
game.
names up.
Yeah,
well, this would be great.
It's a bit like Captain Pugwash and stuff in the day when we grew up.
Pugwash. Oh, that's insane.
But was it the roundabout one? What was that one?
Magic
Roundabout. It's all these references. Anyway, it's a game with this little box that's it's purple with a head on it, and you have to do mazes with it.
You also you
have to play with your purple head and get it through the maze.
Yeah. Purple head.
I'm not sure if we can go back here, but this week also had the women's ISPS Hand It Open, which was played on the same venue as the DP World Tour event. A mixed event. The men and the women played at the same, on the same course together, but in 2 different tournaments, same prize funds, as I understand it.
You look at half the golfers, you definitely get an icy purple head.
Maya Stark winning it on -20, shot 10 under in the last round.
That is low. What was the par? 72.
Must be, 72. No, well, is that Galgorm, wasn't it? Yeah, Galgorm is
Galgorm Castle, yeah.
No, we're thinking at the par, we know where it's not Kingsbarns.
The King's Course.
King's Course at Galgorm.
Par 72, -10 last round to win. That's impressive stuff, isn't it?
Deep.
That's got to be a career low for her, is it?
You'd hope so when you've kind of done that too often.
That's good, that. Do you know what? I'll be honest, I don't watch much women's golf, but is that normal? Like a low score like that?
I don't think it's normal anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
That sort of
you
scores
can't get that on the PGA Tour. Like on the PGA Tour every week, someone will shoot a low score.
Well, it's actually an LPGA event, so you had all the best players there.
Very good.
So probably that is not normal because that many on the par is not normal, is it? No. But this is a bit of a mug off, doesn't it? But it was a very, very good field, and credit to her for doing that. Lynn Grant, top 10 again.
Yeah.
She's just an absolute machine. Absolute machine. Like,
printing cash.
Is she the new Will Zalatoris?
Olivia finished 11th. Yeah. I thought she was going to miss the cut after the first round.
Go on, was she the first round?
She was 2 over first round, and and it already looked like, I think everyone had a fairly good round. It looked like the cut mark was probably 1 or 2 under.
Mm-hmm. Olivia Cowan, she's not had the best season, 6 points. Maybe that'll be a bit of a turning point.
Yeah. So nice check. So good on her.
Turn it around.
What was the final winning score? Did you say?
-20.
20.
They'll be upgrading the flat in Colchester pretty soon with all this cash.
That's good. That.
What was second?
-15.
So the -10 was an exceptional round.
Mm. Yeah. Exceptional round.
What's your best round, Nige?
Sawgrass.
Well, that's not...
What's your lowest round?
My lowest round, when I was about 16 and a half, 17, just before I went off to university, I used to be quite a good golfer. Played a couple of times when I was sort of level par.
Did you have a caddy then?
Didn't have a caddy.
Right.
Just my border collie with me.
My border collie. And could chip comfortably.
Like it.
She used to find the golf balls. She was very good.
Drop a mac out in the fairway.
Yeah. She was amazing. She used to come up on the first tee. She'd come up and lick it.
She was really good at chipping.
Lick my ball. And then wherever I hit it,
she was a border chippy.
So never lost a golf ball with her around.
Crossbreed between a Sam wedge and a border collie.
I would think.
Anyway, I haven't shot under par.
Since she's not been with you?
No. I played at Waterville in Ireland. And have you played that hole? The first hole's out of bounds.
I've never played Waterville. I heard it's amazing.
A great course. And I hit First drive, because it's a lads trip. You turn up semi-drunk still, sliced it out of bounds, 3 off the tee, sliced that out of bounds. So gave up on the first, walked that hole, and then I shot 1 under from the second back in.
Oh, nice. Good to go.
And I always remember that course because of that. And it was a beautiful course, but it's always a lot nicer course when you're playing well on it.
Goes up in your estimations, doesn't it?
We went back there and visited it about 5 years ago, and the rain was horizontal, and it was the most horrific
different experience, yeah.
I think I got over 100 that time.
Good round, that.
So we haven't chatted about the dark side just yet. There's a bit of a few touching points there. LIV Golf.
With Cameron Smith having the role of Darth Vader, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, and, they haven't even played yet. There's still some points to talk about. So Hudson Spofford, Taylor Gooch and Matt Jones, they tried to get a restraining order overturned. Is that the terminology? So that they could play in the FedEx Cup series. So this has kind of been the first kind of legal case that the PGA Tour actually won. So they lost that case. So I guess what is about to become probably quite a long-winded process between the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour.
And that case was all about them claiming that they were being held. What was it? The reason for it?
So they wanted to play. They've all qualified for the FedEx Cup finish of the year, and they wanted to play, but because they've joined the LIV Tour, they can't. They've been told they can't play. So they were trying to get it over.
Challenging
they
that
didn't,
in their contract.
So the PGA Tour won that. So basically, the PGA Tour have kind of had a nice little up and down at the first to save par. And they've now got, the rest of another 2 years of probably this sort of stuff coming up.
Yeah. So that was really just testing what how to interpret the existing contract.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they will actually, Zed, because I think that was really the only time period, because players have played on the PGA Tour this year and have got a status or they've got a ranking. But as of next season, I assume they won't even be allowed to tee it up. So there'll be.
But there's a bigger case coming, isn't there, from this point forward, with all the other players who are. I don't know the exact terminology, but there's a big case coming forward, isn't there? And it's going to be, like most legal cases don't either get done there and then, or
I imagine they'll file
on.
a class action, Nige, right?
Well, I think the number of them filing that case you're talking about is 11. It's dropped to 10.
Yeah, someone's 10. Yeah, I think it was Answer who withdrew his name.
Yeah. So that is a class action to a degree. As a group of them, and they're splitting the legal fees, but they're all in the same boat.
You say splitting the legal fees, but the Saudis must be footing that whole bill.
It's not like they're short of money, is it?
Yeah,
sure they are.
They've got that on them. But yes, and apparently, like, the players were in the players' lounge, kind of watching it around someone's phone, watching the case together, waiting for the judgment to come out. And there was a few fist pumps and so forth when it came across the win of
the PGA's favour.
Yeah, went that way.
Well, so when they were at the event, when did it come out?
So it was across the weekend. I think it was maybe Friday or Saturday.
That was after the event had started, though.
Sorry, yes. So it would have been so you're right. So Tuesday or Wednesday, so 5 days ago.
Okay. So they wouldn't all be sitting in the.
But they're at the tournament. They're at the tournament. Yeah.
Oh, right. Assuming they might play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the players who were watching it on someone's phone, watching it come through, and there was a few fist pumps saying they couldn't come in. And it does seem to be getting a bit more.
Would they have been the people that would have been next in line? So did the line drop for them to then get in?
Yeah, that's good. No, I think as it works for the PGA Tour, that 125 is set. Like if you're 126 and 5 people decide not to play,
that's it.
Yeah, you're 126. Yeah,
but the other people get more. They get the money.
It doesn't shuffle down the board.
So
which is kind of fair enough, isn't it? Because if someone decides not to play, it's not as if the next man in doesn't get in because he's having a week off.
Yeah,
because that could get a bit messy. But it does seem like there's a tiny bit of animosity building up between the players now. From a point that I kind of thought about a little bit, but Colin Montgomery did a day a couple of weeks ago that Josh and I played in a pro-am. And he did a Q&A afterwards, and obviously the first question comes out, someone asks him about LIV Golf, and then he gives us, quite a nice answer, and then the next question, someone else got a question, and this is quite a nice, it's a charity day, next person, bang, LIV Golf, putting him on the spot again, under the mic, and he was like, okay, and then the third question comes up, like, bang, LIV Golf. My pal, Jamie, who was running the day, he's the person sitting next to him, saying, yeah, next question, and kind of comparing with him. And I can see him, it's all getting it was getting a touch awkward. And I was like sitting on one of the first tables. Jamie was like up on the stage, and I kind of got his eye, and I was like putting my hand up, like, I'll ask another question. And he just kind of mouthed to me. He mouthed to me, went, "Is it about LIV?" And I was like, "No, don't worry." I just wanted to get him off the hot seat for 5 minutes and ask him about like the best shot he'd ever hit. But it was interesting because he made the point, like, there's not much of an issue between players. Players decide to go. They understand the ramifications. Go and play. They've joined a new tour, no problems. But I think the animosity is building up where player has done that and knowing the ramifications, and then he's now coming back and then costing the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, their friends money and legal fees that comes directly out of the players' fund to battle back. So I think it is growing.
I was going to say, I saw on social media this morning Ian Poulter's playing the Czech Masters, and he's standing on that range, and I'm just thinking that's got to be a little bit awkward. That
I mean, if anybody probably wouldn't, would just do that, it would be Ian Poulter, wouldn't it? Yeah,
because they got to pay have they got to pay that fine every time they play? So they were given a fine, wasn't they? What was it, 100k?
100 grand, yeah.
So has he got to pay 100k just for playing this event?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the outcome is of that. Kind of, well, the LIV Tour are paying the fine.
Yeah, so they just pay. Yeah, it's 100 grand.
Would he be on appearance fees? Is he big enough player?
Yeah, any of those guys in Europe will be getting an appearance fee. He wouldn't play in Europe if he wasn't getting paid.
But another thing that came out with these legal cases, because with these legal cases going on, they're having to give a lot of documents to the courts and they're open. And I think I read that the sign-on fees that these guys are getting at LIV, your prize money that you win on the events comes out of that, doesn't it? So you don't...
It's like a retainer.
Yeah, so you don't get, if Cameron Smith gets his 100 million, if he wins prize money on the trip, it comes out of the first 100 million comes out of his sign-on fee.
Wow. So it's prize money. So it's just it blocks off.
Yeah, they guarantee you 100 million.
So certainly that's what I read. I mean, I read a few things on social, and I think you can't trust them.
Where was that? Was that like the Sun or something?
Daily Mail.
Man Down Pub told me. Must be true.
Man Down Pub.
No, but there was that little bit on socials where Scotty walked across Cameron's line and it blew up a little bit, and it was like that was funny. That's because of LIV and he's disrespecting, and evidently the reality of it is when they were back in the next hole, I think they high-fived because I think Cameron stiffed it, didn't he?
Right.
And then evidently the chat from inside the changing rooms was they had a good laugh when they got in and looked in social and saw that thing had blown up, and Scotty's just like absent-mindedly, because his game's not great, he's a bit in that zone, just accidentally walked across him lining up and didn't think anything of it. But there were even like quotes that Cameron Smith was referring to him as a dickhead and stuff and I just didn't say any of this.
Yeah.
So there's a load of stuff floating around on LIV that you actually, fake news. So you just got to check, you got to fact check it, check your LIV stuff.
It's just a mess. It's just a mess.
It'll sort itself out.
Check.
Has to.
So going back to it, like Czech are paying whoever it is, the sponsor for the event, Ian Poulter to be there.
Yeah.
And then he's then paying a fine for actually being there. It's like, and then now he's going to play and earn prize money, and then he's going to go back to LIV. It's a mess.
It has to sort itself out eventually.
Yeah. Will it ever? Might be broken forever.
Well, I think if Cameron Smith does go, that for me is going to be the first meaningful
Wasn't there like a horrible moment where if he'd have won yesterday, he would have gone to world number one?
Yeah.
So he might have gone to world number one and then gone. That would have been, I mean, it's bad enough anyway, but to do that as well.
But he's going to be the first golfer who's got major under his belt. He's young. He's coming through, and he's actually
ahead of him. Yeah.
I think he's quite popular. I think don't meet many people who've got a negative thing apart from the haircut stylists out there. But most people have got positive things to say about Cameron Smith, and he seems like a really nice guy.
Great player.
And just wants to get on with it. And he's been pulled into this storm around all of this, and you got to think he is going. You don't get this level of rumor, and the fact that he just doesn't want to talk about it.
No smoke without fire here, is there?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to happen. And I think for LIV, that for me is their first proper. Most of the other golfers who were high profile were sort of at the end of their career. This is somebody that was, had so much opportunity ahead of him in the PGA world and the majors, and he's going into it knowing that he might not be able to attend these. And that,
I think if you want to find out some more stuff from the PGA Tour side of it, there's a few podcasts rolling around, and there's some articles that Davis Love has been very outspoken on these subjects because he's been on the players board and been on the tour for a long time. So if it's something you want to look into, like go and kind of look in like Davis Love and all this stuff, he speaks very well about it, about what they're going through, and he was obviously very pro PGA Tour. But yeah, there is some interesting points, like it's about the events and so forth. Like how he's been trying to talk Phil Mickelson out of going all year, and but then he's like, well, Phil's always gone for it, and Phil's won 80 times, I've won 40 times, so maybe he knows what he's talking about, that sort of stuff. But it is interesting, like yes, he spoke quite well of Dustin Johnson, because Dustin Johnson's gone, and he's not looked back. He's not trying to sue anybody. He's not trying to get back in. He's just like, I'm doing my thing. You can kind of get, can't you? But I don't know. There's something. It's on one hand, it's exposing the PGA Tour. Is the PGA Tour a bit boring? And is LIV a little bit too not serious enough? As James says, it will sort itself out at some point. But if we're just going to shift out this quite down-tone LIV chat, and it's getting a bit boring. I've got a question for you guys. I've got a question for you guys. What was one set of golf clubs growing up that you didn't get that you would go back and buy now, like on eBay or something?
So you didn't get?
Yeah, like a set of clubs where you thought, I really like those, but you never got them as a youngster. And they still sit with you today.
MP33s.
I think, so James is going to take a while because he's got to rattle through the 3,000 different sets and variations that
you
go
just
through.
Put him into a major sort of head
trance. There's a trance.
Doesn't know what to do.
He smokes something.
Doesn't know whether to get
he can't get him in left-handed, so he's got to think.
Yeah. So Josh, you said MP33s.
MP33s,
Lovely Mizuno blade.
Yeah, they're just a proper players' club, and obviously Nick Faldo had them and stuff like that. But at that time, I wasn't strong enough.
He had the MP33s.
It was TP9s.
It was TP9s, then he went to TP11s, then he went to TP19s.
Sorry, TP11s. TP11s, my bad.
That was the one that Tiger had built, wasn't it, Zed?
Yeah.
They used that club and then they Nike stamped it.
My dad had some.
I don't know. Tiger used an MP as well. I think he used MP14s. When he won the Masters, he may be at some point during his amateur career, but when he won the Masters in 97, he had MP14s.
Mizuno Player Club, is that what that stands for, or MP?
Yeah, there are something like that, yeah.
But that
11s,
for me.
TP11s.
I had the burners, like the half set burners with a bubble shaft. I wasn't.
Oh, they're dog.
I weren't ready for. But I was young. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
12, no, younger than that.
Go on, Nige. Was there a set that you wish you would have had you didn't have?
I've never really been a golf club perv type like you guys. I grew up playing with Ryder Mark IIs, which my dad gave me, and they were older than I was. And then when I got a new set, he was working at John Letters, so obviously I had to play with John Letters clubs. So he was CEO for John Letters for a few years, and so whatever clubs they were churning out. He used to sell John Letters.
John Letters, yeah. John Letters salesman, get in.
Well, that was
commission.
A long time ago. So they had some lovely drivers called Trilogy ones, which I just used to spank. I mean, they were appalling. I've still got them. I can still spank them.
Probably sold them to you.
So it just sounds like you're just happy with
everything. But no,
what
I will say is I think a lot of my friends who were into it were playing with, is it Ping? What were the Ping clubs back then? Ping Eyes.
Ping Eye 2. Ping Eye, then Ping Eye 2.
Yeah, I think it was Ping Eye. I'm old. So I think it was Ping Eyes.
That was an era, yeah.
Ping Zings.
And they were using them, and they were going. Everyone was going on about them, and there was a little bit of jealousy because I was playing with these little Ryder Mark IIs, which were pretty old blades, like proper blades.
James,
I had two sets.
2 sets that you wish you had that you didn't have.
Yeah, Callaway X12 Pros.
Right.
Didn't make them in left hand. They were a joke.
Livid.
And Titleist 990 DCIs. It's what Sergio kind of came into the scene with.
They had 2 lots, didn't they?
Well,
because David DeVow, he had like the early DCIs.
Yeah,
which were a big cavity.
Yeah, no, the DCI 990 was like a proper players club. It'd probably be something like a CB now. They've kind of, but they didn't do that back in the day in left hand. They then did one afterwards called a 962, which was available in left hand.
Yeah, the 962, and then 962Bs.
Yeah,
yeah.
But the 990s were the club that Sergio. You remember when Sergio came onto the scene as amateur and he finished 4th, I think, when Tiger won the Masters. They were just a joke.
Yeah, the USPGA from behind the tree.
Sorry, yeah. And they were really nice. But and the X12 Pros were you'd know been a staff player. They used to have the black back, didn't they, instead of the blue back?
That's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And I would obviously I saw you have them back in the day, and they were so high profile you couldn't even get them as a right hander, let alone a left hander. Black Legacies were filth.
I don't remember the X12s being black backed.
All the pro version were Pro Series with black backs. And
you're not going to argue with James about some of this.
No, I'm not questioning it. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying I don't remember them.
I had the blue ones and then went to the black ones.
Yeah.
What kind of magazines did your mum used to find under your bed?
A sticky Golf Monthly.
With the Golf Monthly's got too much non-golf equipment stuff in it. It would have been
like advert page just
probably like
together.
the Titleist catalogue or something.
I think it's probably load of county golf catalogues and a Kelly Brook calendar, I think.
Oh, nice shout.
Kelly Brook using a set of Ping Eye 2s.
What about you, Zed?
What was under his bed?
Yeah.
None of you going to say 731 PMs because they were only made in left hand.
No, Matty B, my friend in left hand, he had a set of those. They were really nice.
Sick combo set. I'd have them.
He's probably still got. Oh, you've had them already. No problems. My set probably would be Mizuno TP19s.
Yeah.
like the Faldo set. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Is that because Faldo played with them though? Because you've got a big thing for Faldo.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that or the Ping I2's beryllium copper.
Oh.
But to have one right through to lob wedge, like 1 iron, 2 iron,
Rob
all
McGurk's
the way
got them,
through.
hasn't he?
Yeah,
The lob wedge was filth in those.
yeah, which were pretty good. And then keeping in the old school theme, just because there hasn't really been any, I think there's been any new school golf films. What's everyone's favourite golf film, Josh?
Tin Cup.
Oh, I was going to say Tin Cup. I mean,
Tin Cup. You can have Tin
Happy
Cup, you double
Gilmore, you know, for like chilling. But Tin Cup was the one that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's Caddyshack.
James, Caddyshack.
Caddyshack's
I knew you'd be Caddyshack.
Cinderella Story. Straight out of nowhere, I guess.
They're so good, aren't they? And there's not very many golf films, are there?
No.
Mine is a film called Dead Solid Perfect, which if you can find it on YouTube, it's just there's some absolute gold in it. It's about like a failed a journeyman pro, and there's like one of his mates who's a bit obnoxious is actually a good player, a bit of a David Sims in Tin Cup, and his other mate just misses every cut. And so they sit in the players' lounge afterwards, and they're like, his mate comes in, how would he shoot? 74. He's all down, depressed, which is literally what happened on, when you sit in the players' lounge at a golf event. And he's like, I had a putt on the 9th hole, my 18th hole to make the cut. And I looked down, it was like a 4-foot putt. And I thought to myself, why did I wear these shoes today? And you're just like, that's exactly what happens. Yeah. And then there's another scene. He's got this black guy caddying for him, and he's like, he's stooping down to read the putt. And it's, let's say it's like this at the Colonial, and he's like looking down the putt, and he's like, and they're both swooping down, and it looks like, they're like figuring out it's a left or right putt, and he's like, you looking what I'm looking at? And there's like 2 women in the crowd, their cleavage out right on line with where they're looking. He goes, yeah, I'm looking at that as well. You just think it's so funny, like what would actually go in on it. But I think it's only on YouTube somewhere. It was like a VHS number. It's kind of showing some age there.
So give us the name again.
Dead Solid Perfect.
Dead Solid Perfect.
It's on YouTube. I'll try and link it like on our Twitter or something like that.
We'll put it in the bio.
A little watch,
Yeah, we should do. Also,
bio,
maybe a picture of the caddy from what you think Will looks like.
Yeah, the young lad from Happy Gilmore.
Has he got a name, that caddy?
Come on, James, you must know that.
Has he got a name or not?
Yeah,
He doesn't, does he?
No, I'm pretty sure he has.
I just remember Happy
Well,
Gilmore.
maybe our listeners, the first listener to give us the name, wins a Bear Tiger hat.
Nice, like that.
Yeah, that's good. And where can they contact us?
Well,
info@beartiger.io.
oh, there we go.
Or on the Twitter.
So email or a Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I think as another point as well this week, we'd somewhat have seen that our friends from across the pond at Good had come over to the UK in and around the Open, and had got amongst it playing some golf over here.
Say friends. Do we know?
Well,
Friends, because we watched.
Well, you watched them. You're one of the 2.1 million that watched their latest video.
Everyone's a friend until they're an enemy, right? We are obviously heading over to Vegas in October to get part of a launch, which Zane's really, really happy about. But we were openly wanting to see, bearing in mind...
I'm happy about the launch. Just Vegas is just not my thing.
But bearing in mind, we've got our 2 ultimate pros here, Nige, our 2 elite scramblers ready and rocks.
Yeah.
I think we should see if we can get the good guys. I think it's Grant and Garrett.
They're good. They do a lot of scrambles, three people scrambles. And
if I've had a shoulder up, I'll jump in if needed.
I looked up their handicap.
Or can't carry the bags.
Yeah.
I got sucked into good.
I'll caddy for Zane again, give him some numbers. But yeah, Josh and Zane versus Grant and Garrett, good. I think that'd be some event. We'll put it on.
I think he'd win because I had I got sucked into them last night watching one of their videos. Their recent one's 3 and a bit hours long. It was a UK round or something, UK major. And they had another one with Rick Shields where they were doing a knockout game. But I got into their scramble games, are quite good. Anyway, I said, I wonder how good these guys are because it's not that easy to tell. And I think people are guessing their handicaps are like minus. A couple of them, the ones you said, Grant and
plus handicap. He's going to Corn Ferry.
Plus 1, plus 2.
Yeah, one lad's going to Corn Ferry.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah. So it'd be a great game.
So it must be better than that then.
Well, also what we really need to know is how they do their shot tracers. They are able to like move their camera
moves,
but
and the shot tracer stays
on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really
exactly.
good.
All right, so give us some insights on shot
Forget about how
tracer.
they just rip it down there. They just they just smash their shot tracers
So
really well.
if you could give us a 2-on-2 scramble and an open forum to shot tracer James about how you draw draws and fades, that'd be sick.
One of them I reckon is off about 12, which is perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'll have him.
He'd be
You
ideal
could
for
do
your
a challenge.
transfusion
You
game.
could have exactly. Like we could have like a transfusion a hole and the 2 last the longest.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Other than that,
I'm well practiced.
Other than that, we've had a pretty good week.
That's what everyone wants to see.
Zed,
Just slightly. Anyone got any heads gone?
No, I've had a good week.
No heads gone, but I think two things for me.
You had a heads gone, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did have a heads gone. Yeah. Don't tell me draw it or fade it. Just tell me where to go. Tiger, the rise and fall it's called. But you're right, it's called Tiger, and then in the description it's rise and fall. Not
So we're both right.
Right. So
Mutual
that.
Virtual fist bump.
Both right and wrong.
Yeah.
And then I think we should say,
get left hanging virtually.
Yeah.
we should say, and we shouldn't leave out, which I completely forgot, is that well done to the 25 players that got their PGA Tour card from the Corn Ferry.
Yeah, especially Ben Taylor.
Massive.
Ben Taylor, good mate of mine.
Did he?
Yeah, he
finished second in this week's event.
Amazing.
Jumped up.
Had a big 9 under round and then ended up finishing second, and it pushed him up into the spot. So
I think he was right on the brink, Josh, when he's
ninth.
just inside. But obviously, the higher you finish, the more adventure you get. He finished ninth in the end.
Yeah. So well done to him, man.
Some minerals. I read a stat about him, actually. He's the only player to play for, because the collegiate system, you can get promoted to better colleges as you get spotted. But he's the only player to win the League 2 and League 1 NCAA golf with 2 different schools.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. We've been going for a while now.
Yeah.
I guess we've got, we're going to Old Head for my 40th birthday, which James has very nicely organised. So we have
director.
A little bit of TD, so a bit of chat on that. I've never been there. What else do we need? I think that's pretty much.
That's it. You know where to grab us.
Yeah,
like us, subscribe us.
He's like, subscribe. Where do we go?
Well,
James, roll it out.
beartiger.io is the website. You can get us at Linktree Bear Tiger Club, and then all of the social handles are Bear Tiger Club. So, yeah. And then next week embarks Saturday Swing School. The boys are cracking on for the community, which is good. We've got loads of stuff coming up. Yeah, some interesting guests coming on the podcast very soon. So, yeah, stay tuned.
And maybe we could have a little section of like Nigel's favourite wine each week.
Favourite wine?
Yeah.
I'm not drinking anymore.
Are you not drinking?
I'm trying to lose weight.
Oh, this is another pod. Right. Yeah. Brilliant. Lovely chatting to you guys, and we'll pick that one up next week.
All the best.
I'm sure they'll be tuning in for that.